Okay, today's walk is going up to the Chinese ponds from the Ardyne Car Park. The Ardyne Forestry Car Park is on the right just as you pass through Toward, heading towards Lochstriven. And as usual, I've left it very late in the day. I'm just not a morning person, and this getting dark at 4 o'clock business is, I still haven't get used to it. But at least every day we get an extra couple of minutes of sunlight, so it's going in the right direction. But I don't think this will be a long video because it's not really a long walk. It's a reasonably straight track. As usual, I'll just show you any of the turn-offs, and I'll show you which turn-off to take. This is one of 3 ways to get to Chinese ponds. This is probably the easiest way, to be honest. First turn off though is there, so you want to go right. Basically, if you get a choice, just keep going uphill. But yeah, 3 ways to get to this. Another one is via Toward Castle. If you go by the ruins of Toward Castle on the track towards Castle Toward, which is the big mansion house, you'll see a track on the right which goes up the hill, and you can get to the ponds that way as well. Right, onwards and upwards. And this is the next crossroads in the path. That track to the right there, I think, just goes to a farmhouse. I've a funny feeling it's actually possible to get down to Castle Tower that way, but it means going over a farmland with the animals in it. That track there, I don't think really goes very far or anywhere interesting. I think it eventually just heads up to up the hill, and there's a forest road up there, and I think it just goes up to that, and we want to go straight on here. And the next off-road. So again, you're going left, you're going uphill, and actually the easiest thing to do is just follow that yellow marker. You know, every couple of 100 metres there's a post with that yellow marker on it. I think that route actually takes you up to the forest road. It doesn't specifically take you to Chinese ponds, but Chinese ponds is effectively just to the right of this track before it gets to the main forestry road. But again, I'll show you. And there's another split. It's more than I remember. I don't remember this many, but again, we're going right. There's the marker. Again, left will take you up, and where those trees are, it will take you up to the right, and it'll take you up onto the forest road. Okay, so we'll go this way. Okay, and that's us at the point where we leave the track. Like I say, that yellow marker will take you up to the forest road, which I may do later, I haven't decided yet. This is where we turn off here. Used to be a lot easier to find because there used to be a picnic table there, but basically I just want to go down this way, and it's as muddy as I remember. And down here, and that's your, well, you can't really see it very well, but that's your first glimpse of one of the ponds. Okay, This is one of the points. And what I'll show you in a wee while is there's some nice wee sort of ornamental bridges across the ponds that are rather looking worse for wear. Now my understanding is that these ponds were originally a water source for Castle Toward, which is an old mansion house at the bottom of the hill, which is near the ruins of Old Toward Castle, Eden. Old Toward Castle. It's very confusing. You've got Toward Castle and Castle Toward. So Castle Toward is the house, and Toward Castle is the ruins of the old castle. And like I say, that is one of the ways that you can actually get up here. There is a track that goes from the grounds of Castle Toward up to here. Right, what we're looking for is, there we go, this wee track here. Down here. Oh, slippy. And this is the first of the ornamental bridges. And this is the second pond. Alrighty. And the second bridge over the second pond. Oh, the light contrasts are too big here now that sun's very low. Okay. And that track there, I'll just turn it down so you can see that track there. That's the one that takes you down to Toward Castle and Castle Toward. And there we go. Chinese ponds. A mixture of a Victorian folly and a source of water for a rich person's house. Doesn't take too long to go up here. Yeah, I was toying with the idea of going back the alternative route down to Toward Castle, but look at the state of the mud. I've got boots on, but I'd rather not get covered in mud. And the other reason I think is by the time I get down to the bottom, I think it's going to be dark, and I don't fancy walking along the road from Toward to Ardyne in the dark. But another wee aside, I was going to go down and show you, but like I say, it's too muddy. But if you go down there, I can't remember how far, a couple of 100 yards, there's a track to the left. Sometimes it's really well hidden, and that takes you down to, in there, like a circular folly built on the edge of a bluff overlooking the river. If I remember, I'll throw a photograph of it in this video. But yeah, the way to get that is to go down there and go to the left. So and there's a river over there somewhere, and it overlooks it. I think one of the last times I was up here at night doing a painting with light shot of that bridge. It turned out alright, wasn't great, but again, if I remember, I'll put it in this video after this segment. But it was alright. To be honest, it was more about the trip up here and just being up here in the dark and the quiet. It was very peaceful. The only downside was going back to the car. I went down that track that was I showed you earlier in the video and slipped, twisted my ankle, which I think is starting to become a common theme in these videos. Quite often I'm saying I twisted my ankle. Unfortunately, it does happen a lot. So getting back to the car was very painful. very peaceful here though. I was going to fly the drone and get some aerial shots of all this, but the trees are now pretty overgrown and they don't have leaves on them, which means the drone sensors won't pick them up. So if I do fly my drone here, there's a really good chance I'll crash it, and knowing my luck, I'll crash it into the water. So I might put some legacy drone shots in this video if I remember rightly. So when I came back on that track. So that track takes you down to the bottom of the right hand side of the ponds, and that track will take you up to the middle between the two ponds. So yeah, it's a loop, so go whatever way you want. But one of the things I do like of it coming out here, out in these walks when it is so late and I've got so little light, it's nice and quiet. I passed quite a few people coming down the hill that had obviously visited here, but now there's nobody. Yeah, I need to get my steps up. It's only about 1 kilometre from the car park to here, so I'm just going to spend maybe another 15-20 minutes. I'm going to walk up here to the forest road, maybe stretch my legs up there a wee bit before heading back. Okay, here we are at the end of the yellow trail and onto the forest road. It's a wee bit further than I remember. It's about another 1/3 of a kilometre, which isn't far, you know. So like I say, I think that track takes you over to Ardyne. And that track, I have followed it some of the way, and eventually it split and I came down off it, down at the road to Loch Striven. But there were a couple of branches off to the right where the road went further into the hills. So if you've got a bike or lots and lots of time in your hands and a keen walker, then up left might be, yeah, a good choice. Now there's a signpost down here, let's have a wee look. Oh, I definitely need to come up here in my bike if I can figure out how to get onto it. I definitely don't want to come up that Ardyne track in my bike, it's too steep, it's too muddy. Okay, so there's the signpost. It says to the left we've got, I still can't see even my glasses on, there's a big ditch here, that's the problem. It says Carlarach, is that right? Carlarach Loop and Ardyne Car Park. Well, Ardyne's where we left from. Carlarach Loop, I'll need to look that up on the map. And then what does the other side say? That also says Carlarach Loop and Carlarach Car Park. Okay, so if I do want to come here on my bike, I'll need to find out where Carlarach Car Park is. It's up there obviously somewhere. If I can find out where that car park is, that could be a good starting point to come here on my bike. Because like I say, I definitely don't want to come up that track from Ardyne Car Park. It's too muddy. Carlarach Car Park is actually at Bishop's Glen. Alright, I know where that is. Because I don't like going back the same way that I came normally, if I was going back the same way, I'd go back down there, down by Chinese ponds. But I'm going to go up this way. Now if I remember rightly, there's at least one track off to the left, and that'll take me down eventually down to Ardyne Car Park, but via one of the tracks that you saw earlier in the video that I chose not to take. So it should drop down the hill at a different point and then come across and join the main track. Okay, I was right. That's one of the other tracks going down. I'm going to take that one back to the car park. But very quickly, I'm just going to quickly nip over here. If I remember rightly, there's quite a nice view of I reckon I've probably got like about 40 minutes left before it starts getting really dark, but maybe an hour. But as you can see, there's the Island of Bute over there, and down there is Loch Striven. I think that's the Kells of Bute over there as well. So but yeah, it looks lovely. But we're going back to that track that I pointed out a minute ago. And there's a signpost, so you know you're going the right way. So we'll go this way. It just occurs to me, there is a third reason for going back this way. The first two being the track wasn't in very good nick that I come up. It was very slippy and I wasn't keen to go down it. Also, it means doubling back on myself, which I usually don't like. But another one is, I just don't have good memories of that other track. I just remember how hard it was getting down the hill in the dark with a heavy rucksack and an knackered ankle. So I don't have good memories of it. So we'll do this one, and it looks in pretty good nick, but I can see there's been mountain bikers on it. The downside, being a mountain biker myself, I feel a bit hypocritical saying this, but the trouble with mountain bikes when they go in tracks like this, when it's wet, they churn up the track a lot more than feet would, because it's a lot of weight on a very small area. So the tracks do tend to get a little bit more damaged. But hey ho, everyone's got to find their fun somehow. And no doubt, I've been a hypocrite myself a few times in the past and done it a few times. Just an observation. Oh, what a view. And this is the bit where the new track joins the earlier track. So last time we went up that way and we came down that way, and that is us back, and it's still daylight. So I've pleasantly overestimated how long it would take me to get back. I could have sworn it would be dark by the time I get back to the car, but it's still beautifully light. So that's it, another wee walk done. Okay, earlier on in the video I mentioned there were a number of different ways of getting to Chinese ponds, and I pointed to a track leading down from the ponds that I said would go down to Toward Castle and Castle Toward, but I wasn't going to take it because it's too muddy. So this is where you get to the bottom of that. There's the sign there, it says Chinese lakes, but it's Chinese ponds. So you just follow that track and eventually get over a bridge over the river, and you follow the river up and it takes you to the ponds. So that sign is at the end of this track, and you can just see the Tower Castle ruins there. So you can park on the main road, there's a couple of laybys you can park in. You can go up through the forest to this track here, do a wee visit to Tower Castle. I've done a couple of videos of that. Come along this track and then go up there to Chinese ponds. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and listening to me babble on, and I'll see you in the next video.